Welcome to In the News with Double O Des. I'm Des Bernardo, giving you my perspective on news from South Africa and the rest of the world. In the news now is something that is really disturbing, and it's something I've been following for a very long time. I've spoken about this in many of my videos, that Big Brother wants to monitor you, and the New World Order that wants a one world government, a one world leader and a one world religion has only one thing in mind: to control and monitor everything that we do. This is simple. It's a difference between the right to be free to choose and them telling us what to do and how to live. They might believe that how we live is what they prescribe for us to live is perfect, but I don't care. I want to be free to make my own choices. Thank you very much. In this article, our choices are being taken away, and it's being taken away by our government, and our Minister of Communications has turned against us and is now batting for the New World Order side. So the headline of this article, and you can get a link to this headline underneath the description in the video. Please go and read this article. This is important. And read the Gazette that's attached to this article. Is in my broadband. And the headline reads: New government policy will let mobile networks build a 5G tower on your property. This is where they're going, and I told you that 5th generation technology will be installed everywhere. Because of the level of frequencies they're going to, it's not about 5th generation technology, the physical, technical aspects of it. That's the problem. It's what can be done with it that is the problem. And you will see how they want to enforce this in our lives, and they're not going to give us choices in this. Minister of Communications and Digital Technology Stella Ndabeni-Abrahams, the New World Order sellout, has gazetted a new policy on the deployment of communications networks in South Africa. Brace yourself. The policy aims to accommodate the accelerated deployment of electronic communications networks such as LTE and 5G networks. So remember, this infrastructure can be used for any type of network. That's why I said there's no such thing as just a 5G tower. This is fake news. You can use various infrastructure for various different types of transmission and reception. The policy gives mobile networks and other licensees the right to select, enter and use public or private land for the deployment of their network infrastructure. Any infrastructure built on this land would belong to the network which built it, and property owners are directed to avoid damage to the facilities built on their property. Now, you're not going to be compensated for this. This is like when I went to the military. The first thing they said to us: you now government property. If you cut yourself shaving, you then damage government property and you will be punished for that. These people are psychotic, sick individuals. Let me continue. Remember, this is in a Gazette. This is our government putting this rubbish forward, the same way the Western Cape government put forward this rubbish on transgenderism in schools for kids, where boys can compete against girls in athletics. Really, people. But this is taking the cake. The best is still to come. Any infrastructure built on this land would belong to the network which built it, and the property owners are directed to avoid damage to the facilities. And I quote: if such electronic communication networks or facilities are damaged due to the fault of a property owner, in other words, you decide to blossom the thing to pieces, reasonable compensation agreed to between the property owner and the electronic communications network service licensee is payable. Close quote. The policy states. So you must now pay for infrastructure they came and put on your property that you didn't freaking want in the first place, and now they're going to tell you that you must pay and be and compensate them for it. Yo, this is crazy. It gets worse. Can you believe it? This direction would also apply to the wholesale open access network, WOAN, proposed by the government. Not the government. The New World Order stooges behind them. They don't have brains to actually figure out anything, and this is why we're trying to replace them as soon as possible with a viable system. The policy goes on to state that licensees who wish to build communications infrastructure on a property must provide the owner with a notice that includes the following information. you're going to receive a notice. Do you understand what that means? The reason for engaging in the activity, the date of commencement of such activity. Not can we do it, the date they will start. The objection process to its plans, so that you can object to it. The planned location of the installation. Environmental, water, health and safety information. They're going to give you information. Brainwash information that comes from our New World Order agencies. And remember, I'm not someone that's against good technology. Technology is a good thing for many reasons. But I will not support any technology that's going to take my right away for freedom of association and fighting evil systems, fighting evil governments, and fighting evil organizations. I want to be able to organize to fight them. Additionally, owners may not charge companies for building infrastructure on their property. So you won't even have a right to say, listen, you need to give me some money for this, except under certain conditions. Buddy-buddy system. These include cases where more intrusive electronic communications networks or facilities such as masts are erected on a property. I quote, in such cases, any access fee must be reasonable in proportion to the disadvantage suffered and must not enrich the property owner or exploit the electronic communications network service licensee. Close quote, the policy states. Minister Ndabeni Abraham specifically mentions the advent of 5G technology in the policy, stating that these guidelines will help to enable the rapid and unhindered deployment of many 5G towers across the county. I'm sure they meant country. Many. So this is their plan. She has sided with them. She's now the enemy. Open and closed. I quote, rights of way will become increasingly important to deploy massive numbers of small cells for 5G and backhaul to connect the cells. Close quote, the policy states. So, I described before that 5th generation technology, because of the higher frequencies that they want to use to make it faster, you would need many transmitters and receivers all over the place. I said, they're going to in the end put it all over your house. That you've already got it on your cell phone. Some people have it on their TV, some have it on their fridges, some have it in the microwaves. We're already living in a 5G enabled system to a certain degree. But what this is going to do is build this smart grid that they're going to need, especially in the metros, so that they can build their smart cities and force 70% of us into those smart cities by 2030. Let's make no mistake, this is 100% the plan. It's in their documents. I am using their documents as a reference. Listen to this, and I quote, significant efforts must be made by all spheres of government to enable the rapid deployment of electronic communication networks and facilities, since these networks are critical enablers for our advancement as a country in the 4th industrial revolution. We can replace it with New World Order revolution. Close quote. Regulations and implementation. It should be noted that this policy is currently open to written comments from interested parties and will be under 30 working days after the date of publication. So with this Gazette, we have 30 days or maybe even less now to actually respond to this. And we need to start this en masse and say how we feel. Not that they're going to care about what we say. We know it's just lip service. Comments submitted after this date will be disregarded. As soon as possible after this publication consultation, the Minister will issue a final policy direction to the Independent Communications Authority of South Africa, ICASA. ICASA will then be tasked with drawing up and implementing the regulations to implement the direction outlined in the policy. I quote, the purpose of the proposed policy direction is to direct the authority to prescribe regulations on procedures and processes for resolving disputes that may arise between an electronic communications network service licensee and any landowner in order to satisfy the public interest. Remember the greater good. If you go to my wife's channel, Lauren Evanthia, she will speak about this concept, how the greater good has become more important than individual rights. Please subscribe to Lauren Eventia and go and watch her videos. People, this is serious. Our freedom is under attack. So they want to satisfy the public interest. Who decides what the public interest is? They want to decide what our interest is. In the rapid rollout of electronic communications networks and electronic communications facilities, close quote, the minister said. Interested parties can provide written comments on a proposed policy and policy direction within 30 working days of the date of publication. Comments submitted after this date will be disregarded, as I said earlier. And then the relevant gazette, you can actually find it there, you can go and read it. People, spread this far and wide. Please subscribe to this channel if you have not yet. Click the bell icon and share this video. Share it everywhere, on every group that is fighting New World Order ideology. This is why we need a new system of governance. And there's numerous people on the ground right now working to establish a new system of governance. I have dedicated the rest of my life, and my wife has dedicated the rest of her life to make sure that we get a new governance system in this country. That the takeover of the New World Order that happened before 1994 and after 1994, that we get rid of that system. That a new system is put in place where people can make themselves safe from this tyranny that's coming our way. And you know, if you support this 5th generation technology rollout that will monitor our every move, by all means, that's your own free fruition. It's your choice to do that. And I'm not going to tell anyone what they should support or not. I want to tell people that choose freedom, that you're on my side. I want you to fight with me against these draconian things where they're going to come into your property, tell you that they want to put up infrastructure there. You won't be able to do anything about it because you're going to be hindering the greater good. Same narrative as with this COVID-19 pandemic. The government has used this COVID-19 pandemic, and the World Health Organization and the United Nations, the New World Order agencies, all of them have enabled with this COVID-19 pandemic to put all the catchphrases there, to implement rubbish like this, where you're going to be told what to do on your own property. You won't have a say. This 30-day period is window dressing, but I ask you to be an active citizen and have your voice heard in the interest of justice. And I ask Dear SA to take up this cause for the people to go and support that platform and to submit their complaints about this immediately. I'll be in communications with Rob Hutchinson, who runs Dear SA. The platform works at sending individual complaints directly to government. If he's not already set this up at this stage, please support that platform. We need to say how we feel. Even if they don't listen to us, we will take further action and I'll communicate that to you. Thank you very much for listening. Remember again, please subscribe to this channel, click the bell icon and share this video. It's very important that your family and friends get to hear about this. Your rights on your property being taken away, our government thinks they own it for the greater good of society. Our individual rights are gone if we don't claim them back. Thank you very much.